Hello, and welcome to Dice Punks, a tabletop role-playing podcast where we focus on playing full campaigns in less well-known systems. This week in Episode 6, our Prophets of Darkness encounter their first Nobilis of another Imperator. Thanks for joining us. Hello and welcome. I'm Adam, your friendly neighborhood game master, and joining me are...
Hi, I'm Drew, and I'm playing Dosktir, who is increasingly in over his head both as a mortal and as the Nobilis, who is the Duke of Nothing.
I'm Robin, and I'll be playing Lyssa Crate, the conflicted and chaotic Duchess of Fury.
I'm Dez, and eventually I will be playing Ramnet, the center of the not actually called New Orthodox Church of the Obsidian God.
Well, thank you guys for being here, for introducing yourselves. We're going to get right into it. Before we get started, though, let's briefly recap any character stat growth and the events of the previous episode for ourselves and our listeners. So I believe that Dosk has the summary of last episode this time.
I do. So things got weird, I think it's fair to say. We picked up meeting a devotee, a true believer of the Obsidian God, and discovered that perhaps there may be a way, or there may have been a way, I should say, to complete our mission, to snuff out the fires, to make the fire festival within the city in which we found ourselves, I'm a bit scattered, excuse me, not take place. So we went into town to perhaps make this happen. We conjured a storm. I used my powers of nothing to make the storm negative in some way. Everything was extremely good until things became extremely bad. Lyssa took on a form that I didn't think was possible for any person, much less a person I know as well as I know her, to take. She became a creature of pure fury, invoking fury in those around her. I should say, I think so much about the Lyssa thing that I should mention there were some sea monsters. Anyway, sea monsters were besetting the town, and the Lyssa thing was making short work of them, but also of the sanity of the inhabitants. I, however, was able to negate the fury of the sea beasts, and that about takes us to now. Lyssa seems to be herself again, and I am quite confused.
Yeah, thank you very much. There is one particular detail from the very end that I would like to make sure to highlight, which is that upon Lyssa returning to herself and kind of crumpling to the ground, you were alerted to the presence of the first other Nobilis that you have ever encountered, in the form of a drowned 7-year-old girl speaking with a somewhat gurgly, if high-pitched voice, saying, "That's a first," from up on the harbor wall where you had temporarily, calmed or flummoxed the manta-like sirens and the giant fish apes that we were calling behemoths.
I didn't mean to exclude important details. It is good to have someone semi-omniscient in the room, since I looked upon horrors impossible to comprehend so recently.
I think that, very true to character, Dosk would not have been thinking primarily about that last line before we left off last time.
True enough.
Dosk had to deal with a lot.
Look, it's been a day for all concerned.
Yeah. This is definitely true. So we are rejoined this time, as you heard, by Dez, who gets to make a roll for bonus XP. So if you would be so kind to grace us.
That is a pair of 2s.
All right. That bonus XP is yours. And then if there's any XP expenditure going on, if anybody wants to grow their character anyway, I think we're at about the point where there are enough experience points on character sheets to do that. So, Robin, I see you raising your hand.
Yes, I'm going to spend 5 of my 7 mortal XP points to upgrade my expert die on Fascinate to a master die.
All right. So under normal circumstances, you will no longer be able to fail Fascinate rolls, which is
Excellent.
pretty fun.
So I'm going to be buying 4 spells with my 8 XP. And
All right.
I'm picturing one of those shopping sprees from old Nickelodeon shows, when you got to go crazy in the video game aisle.
those being Shadow Refuge, so I can hide in darkness unless somebody inopportunely introduces light into my hiding place, those monsters. Then I would be trapped there until it is fully dark again. Please don't do that. Shadow Jacket, which is some shadow armor. Shadow Dive, which I believe you're getting the sense of the spell names here. Not very creative, but they're of a theme. Which I believe is point-to-point teleportation through shadows. No way I could use that for ill. And the permanent attunement spell for later, hopefully not misuse.
Sounds good.
As the bard once wrote, "Yo dog, I heard you like shadows."
I live in Fermata, of course I fucking
do. Learn to like them or suffer.
So I think
experience from Dusk.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a page from Lissa's book, and I think I am going to up my experience die, or my expert die, excuse me, for perform to a master die, using all 5 of my mortal XP points that I currently have.
Excellent.
We are very charismatic.
Yes, hopefully it will help you more later than it has with the sea monsters du jour. Which is to say...
I did have a quick question before we get kicked off or get everything started in earnest. So last time, because of my handicap, I received 1 temporary miracle point. I did not have control of my character until the cliffhanger, so does it apply to this session?
Oh, yes. Temporary miracle points are ones that simply don't refresh after you use them. They are not per session.
Okay.
So, good
That's
question.
Good to
know. You can set it into whichever one you want. Go ahead and put it wherever you want it. And then it is there until you use it, or until we have a prolonged period of recuperation.
Speaking of miracle points, I overran my domain miracle points in order to dispel the fury of the rays and the behemoths and such like. I believe I had to do 2 domain miracle points at an exchange of 2 to 1 from another kind of miracle point. We didn't actually say what I was taking it from, so I'm going to say 4 of my miracle points from Realm are the terrible price that I have paid to have made that happen.
Yeah, I think that works well. I see it already noted on your sheet, so we are good to go.
I noted it. I wanted to make sure the listener knew where those came from in case anybody's keeping track of what I can and can't do. So if we get back to Fermata and stuff goes down, I will be on the back foot.
Yeah, as you may expect after the kind of day you guys have had. So we rejoin our Nobilis in the field in Calaven, the most prominent trading city in Taraxis, on the day of their Festival of the Fall Fires, or what would have been the day of the Festival of the Fall Fires. You showed up there with instructions to halt this celebration, as it dispels darkness in the night, and the Obsidian God does not particularly appreciate that. You succeeded rather beyond your own expectations with the consequence question mark that... monster manta rays crawled out of the sea on misshapen human-like arms and legs, singing an otherworldly, not exactly song, with their upsettingly human mouths and lapping blood from puncture wounds on civilians that they placed there with their very long, sharp, needle-like canines. Following them were some 12-foot tall ape-like behemoths from the sea that we haven't really seen in action yet, as they are very slow to mount the harbor wall, and Dusk has flummoxed them with this sort of negation of the siren's song. The song seems to have an effect on mortals, but you certainly have not experienced any such thing that can break one of 3 ways. Either no particular effect, someone goes into a frenzy, or they are flinging themselves into the sea as directly as possible. The song is at the moment abated. The storm that Lissa whipped up last time continues unabated. And there is a moment where this howling of the storm simply fills in the space between thoughts as the two of you behold the drowned child standing on the harbor wall amidst the rays and the behemoths, observing on the novelty of what she has just seen. Lissa, you are sort of doubled over, kind of hunched on the ground after your episode. And Dusk, you are a little bit drained, but upright and simply looking up from a street below the harbor wall at this figure, who really is only visible to your mortal senses when lightning flashes, but as a Nobilis, and seemingly one with a relatively strong link to this shard of their Imperator's soul within them, the presence of this child on the harbor wall burns incandescently in your divine senses. So we unfreeze time at this moment of howling storm and paradoxical stillness.
So the last thing this drowned girl Nobilis said was, "That's a first." I'm going to say something along the lines of, "It's quite a day for those." And I say something along the lines of because I think I'm going to roll charm plus jest to perform the nearest thing possible to nonchalance, given the circumstances.
By all means, go for it.
Okay, so that's 5 dice. And we have a pair of 6s.
Pair of 7s.
That's what I meant.
Striking sad boy.
I cannot express how much I love that description.
It's very good.
I have a theory that Drew forgets it intentionally just to hear you remind him that he is a striking sad boy.
Well, that would be so vain. Why would I?
So, the little girl standing on the harbor wall, she looks to be about a week drowned, other than the fact that she's standing up, speaking, and moving around. She's got whatever her skin looked like before, it's pale and waterlogged now. Her hair is this long platinum blonde that's scraggly and wet and has algae growing in it. Her clothing was probably once a relatively fine kind of summery dress, and currently is sort of bedraggled and splotchy and a little shredded. Her feet are bare. Her eyes are a little off-putting. They are somewhat bulging, but also still clearly like looking around, and she blinks occasionally, if not as often as it feels like she should. She has a child's voice, but not the manner of speaking of a 7-year-old, really. You would put some money on the bet that while she probably did drown, it was probably not as recently as a week ago. And like I said, your divine senses pick up instantly. This is another Nobilis, and one with a fair bit of attunement to the Imperator shard within her that gives her her divine power. Lissa, you're probably not in any state to realize this, but Dusk, you may pick up the fact that the storm's winds and rain do not seem to come near her. It is as though she is standing in a pocket of it, where it is simply not affecting her at all. Her expression is relatively impassive as she looks down on you. You offer up your nonchalant remark. and she gives you, could best be described as a grim, lopsided smirk. And she says, "Yes, I suppose it must be. You would belong to that shadow over this land, wouldn't you?"
So, since we've never met another Nobilis before, this is table talk. This is not me saying that to her.
Sure.
How much do we know, right? Do I have to take a moment to employ the sight to tell something about her nature? Or is it sort of up to me to deduce what she might be the Nobilis of and what god she might be in the service of?
Yeah, you won't know any of that. You're able to see what is essentially, if we're talking table talk, her spirit stat.
Sure,
you
sure.
know that she burns pretty brightly.
Okay.
At least by contrast to the only Nobilis the two of you have encountered, namely yourselves. You know what? I actually believe that Dosk, you unable to perceive your own, sort of incandescence, can certainly note that she burns brighter than Lissa. But Lissa, if you were looking at the two of them, Dosk burns a little the brighter than this little girl.
Oh.
But other than that, you really don't have a sense. There's no like divine ID tag showing,
Sure.
"Hi, my name is blank, Nobilis of blank, Imperator of blank, blank, and blank."
That would be handy, but yeah, perfectly understandable, and frankly more interesting that that's not the case. Yeah, so I think when I don't offer any additional information, but I also don't deny what she's saying. So in shadow, do we dwell now and then, and from shadow have we emerged to do something along the lines of what has happened here today? And you might be.
She cocks her head and says, "You kept the fires unlit. Well, I suppose we owe you our thanks." She roughly kicks at one of the sirens near where she's standing, sending it off the harbor wall and kind of splatting wetly to the paving stones below. It seems mostly uninjured. It just makes a wet splat sound because it's a manta ray and hits stone. But she doesn't seem to regard it very highly at any rate. And she kind of nods as though thinking to herself, but seems to realize that you asked a question. She said, "I suppose you may call me Philia, of the deep if you wish. And you are?"
Dosk Tyr, Duke of Nothing, and my companion here is Lissa, and she may need a moment.
I just give a thumbs up.
The little girl Philia narrows her eyes and says, "Oh, is she? And then turns and looks out over the ocean for a moment, and then upon turning back says, "Very well, you can go. I'll take it from here, my master and I, anyway. The city is ours now, as I'm sure you're aware."
What exactly do you plan on doing?
"Oh, returning it to the sea where it always belonged. Finding that bastard, making him pay. Or at least his descendants. I'm sure there have been a few generations since the last time I was here."
And I don't suppose I could interest you in getting a drink and talking all of this over?
She gives you a very flat look and says, "I'm not old enough to drink."
Your master, then? Will your master be along? I'm sure we could come up with some sort of beverage that, while delicious, does not violate whichever precepts or rules you wish to follow for yourself.
She rolls her eyes as though you have just said one of the stupidest things she's ever heard. In that way that children have, actually. It's kind of upsetting because her eyes don't quite fit in their sockets right. And she says, "My master won't come ashore. The city, instead, will go to him. If you're here when it does, I expect you will not like the sensations very much, but I suppose I can't stop you. Or rather, my time is better spent doing other things." She looks up and down the line of sea creatures on the harbor wall and says, "What did you do to them?"
I ignore her question and I ask, and your master, is he or she the one that is feeling such rage?
She chuckles in a way that uses a child's voice but does not sound childlike. The description I gave in the last session described her as speaking as though through a glass of water held in the mouth, and that comes and goes in her voice. Sometimes it's clear, but every once in a while this gurgle kind of comes in underneath it. It comes in under the laugh here now, making it sound particularly upsetting. She goes, only for the last 1,000 years or more, but his rage is shared by all of his subjects. She looks at the sea creatures to either side, and she goes, save one, and gives you a wry smile.
I ignore the smile as best I can and say, bastard. Who? Descendants. Who would that be?
She rolls her eyes again, this time very theatrically with a sigh, very intentionally, and says, well, I don't suppose there's any getting around you until you decide to leave. Eons ago, when this city was a fishing hamlet, there was a man here by the name of Calivan. I'm given to understand his line yet lives here. He offended my master greatly, long before my time, and devised some way of keeping us out of the city. Clearly, it's no longer functioning, and my master would like to get our revenge. So if you'll please step aside.
Quick thing that I do not remember that Dusk would. What was the wording we got as far as what our mission was here precisely? As far as, like, snuffing out the lights? Was that what it was? Or was that from the Cyan Mirror? The Cyan Mirror quest.
Both were similar.
Okay.
Specifically, you were told in this case that the Festival of the Fall Fires needed to be extinguished. You needed to keep the fires unlit. You have, as far as you know, accomplished your mission here. The fires are not lit.
It seems your master and ours share some interests in common, and yet it seems you bear some enmity for ours. So I must ask, was it the fires keeping you away? And when you say the sea will reclaim this town, will these people become, I gesture at the rays and then at the behemoths, or will they simply do what mortals do in water?
She chuckles, seemingly actually very earnestly, finding this funny. She says, oh yes, they'll drown. No more than they deserve, frankly.
I kind of brush myself off as best I can and blot some of the blood still streaming into my eyes with the back of a sleeve. And I look for the first time at this girl straight on and I say, well, it seems that we're at an impasse. These people worship the obsidian god and are under my protection.
Okay, two things.
Mm-hmm.
First thing, I would like you to roll a body plus endurance to get back to your feet.
Okay. That's 5. Oop, where did that one go? On the table. I got a pair of 4s.
Okay. You do manage to get up. You're a little shaky, but you're feeling a little bit more sure of yourself as you sort of rise to your full height and take a breath. Your body feels kind of wrung out, as though you spent a long day at the forge, but all over, not just in your arms. However, you do have, while your body is still mortal in most ways, you do have this well of divine energy that you can call on to kind of keep yourself moving. You feel tired enough to put a mortal in bed, but you can keep going. The second thing was, when you describe the citizens of the city as worshippers of the obsidian god, the little girl starts cackling. And when you say that they're under your protection, she doubles over, as though you have just said the funniest thing in the world. As she laughs, she actually, without stopping laughing, vomits seawater and kelp a couple of times.
That's so gross.
This is just charming, Adam.
Thanks. When she finally masters herself again, she shakes her head and says, "No one worships your god of darkness. They just fear him. There is a difference. They will learn instead to fear my master. And there will be nothing you can do about it. We, the three of us, can stand here all night and all day. Time means very little to those like us. However, this battle is already lost. You would do well to scamper on home."
Now, I would agree that the battle is already lost, and yet I might quibble as to who has lost it, for indeed it seems your army has lost the will to fight, and as you have so ably and so conveniently admitted, you're not even sure why. I think as I do this, I do something akin to what I believe in the rulebook is called a display move. So I'm sort of, I think it's just a command plus intimidate roll, but I'm basically making myself appear a threat in some way.
All right. Yeah, that's 2 dice. Wrong character sheet.
2 plus 2. Yeah.
Yes. You have 4 dice for command plus intimidate.
That is. Ooh. Are we keeping count of this for the campaign? Because that's 3 6s.
We really should be. I will go back to the recordings.
For our listeners who did not have a visual on Drew earlier, he did have hair horns.
I did.
The most magnificent of satanic bedhead.
I can't make it happen. It happens when the spirit moves me.
As it were.
All right, so
like an old sculpture of Moses.
3 6s, you strike sort of a pose, you make a sort of flourish with your mambele, and the little girl, Philia, she straightens up and she sort of squares her shoulders. She's only 4 feet tall. So this is a little absurd looking, but you are nevertheless looking up at her where she's standing on this harbor wall, and she sort of, frowns down at you and says, "I suppose if you wish to do this the hard way, it can be done that way. How long do you think whatever miracle you used here is going to last? Because once it wears off, all of the fury of the sea will be coming at what? The 2 of you? How do you fancy your odds of keeping these people safe then?"
I've always defied the odds.
As you say that, you actually hear something kind of whipping around on the wind. It's playing merry hell with your sense of where sounds are coming from, but it sounds for all the world like a gruff male voice raised, shouting, "Pikes forward!"
It would seem it's more than the 2 of us.
Philia, in again one of those ways that is discordantly childlike, stamps her foot in a little bit of frustration and says, "Enough!" And her voice does not come on that second syllable from her mouth. It comes from the clouds. Lightning starts falling throughout the city, shattering buildings and sending people to the ground. The wind starts whirling in tight circles rather than any prevailing direction. Little miniature whirlwinds popping up and dissipating very rapidly all around you. Rain turns from rolling sheets into simply a driving wall, and you start to feel hail getting bigger as it falls, pounding against you where you stand. First pea-sized, and then within 30 seconds, like plum-sized.
So I imagine it would be a major destruction to stop the fury in the city, specifically the storm.
Yes. You could target the whole area of the city to do a major destruction of fury that precedent suggests would affect the storm and possibly other things within it.
Okay.
For you, I believe would be...
I would have to do the Rite of the Last Trump.
Right, you would have to shift some miracle points around in order to make that happen. As a major destruction is level 8, and you have 4 domains. So
this is table talk. Speaking of Rite of the Last Trump, I don't want to play the card up my sleeve just yet. Drew, do you have anything that you can do? I'm waiting for the creature specifically to become a threat.
Yeah, no, I'm not only tapped, but I'm in arrears, right? Like I'm already using miracle points from other things besides domain. I do have an ability called Air of Dreadful Command, where I could make whoever's raising a pike on the same side as us more intimidating. But that's about all I can do unless we have some very clever idea that would be within the realm of like a lesser creation.
Okay. I'm going to go for the Rite of the Last Trump.
Okay.
And it's a 2-to-1 rate. Okay.
It can come from anywhere.
I'll take it out of aspect.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and make sure my sheet reflects that. And just add, I should just need one more because of that lovely temporary MP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I read something interesting in the rule book about major destructions. Specifically, it says that a major destruction has the ability to quell an emotion permanently in a person.
If you focus it to just that person.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to focus it on the storm and try to focus it on the natural occurrences in the area specifically. So see if I can get a little bit of it to wash over the sea beasties as well. And the sea.
Okay, so we're not talking about a permanent destruction for any of this then. We're talking about maybe longer term than the next couple of hours.
Yeah.
But not
permanent. Okay. If it has to be focused on one, it's...
Yeah.
I don't... my initial plan was to focus this on our friend, but she mentioned that she does not feel fury.
Correct. Yeah, she implied that she was the sole servant of whatever her master is, who does not share his fury.
But it seems like she's getting mad now.
In the way of thwarted children.
Think that there is some anger there, but it seems to be all her own.
Okay.
So
Drew,
is
what
you're doing dependent on her getting mad? Does that give you more power over her because it's in your domain?
So we have 2 options. Either I can stop the storm and maybe have some of that effect wash over the sea beasties for hours. So everything would be calm, maybe give the people a chance to fight back. But if the actual sea itself gets mad, then who knows? Or I could permanently ensure that our drowned friend no longer feels fury whatsoever, which is a bit of a Hail Mary.
Well, you'll have to deal with...
I am also going to bring up a rules point.
Octoritas and...
Yeah. So that was what I was going to say is that, this is something that may not be an immediate consideration for Alyssa in character, but that you definitely, should be taking into account in terms of mechanics. We know that she does not have 0 spirit, right? From having observed her candescence in your divine senses, and so you are going to need at least some penetration on that, which translates to more miracle points.
Okay, in this case it would. All right. I was going off the fact that she seemed weaker than Dosk, but stronger than Lissa, which would put her at a specific number.
Yeah, sure.
Should we let the listener in on that since we know, or for those?
I think that would be 2, right?
Yeah. So
yeah, she is higher than Lissa and lower than Dosk. She is definitionally at 2 spirit.
Okay.
So that might be a good time to dive into how Octoritas works against a level 8
so if
miracle.
if we were to both
miracle.
do something against her at the same time, would each of us need to essentially be 2 higher than normal? Okay. It's
Correct.
not as though one of us...
Each miracle encounters the Octoritas separately.
Okay.
So level
I would
8,
need 2 more miracle points.
Correct. The level 8 miracle is to achieve the effect.
Mm-hmm.
And then the penetration is on top of that, right? So you can affect mortals or natural phenomena, non-miraculous beings and things with miracles with no penetration. If a Nobilis has 0 spirit, they don't have an Octoritas, you can affect them with 0 penetration, which is not quite the same as not having any penetration, but mathematically is the same, in terms of miracle point cost. But if somebody has an Octoritas, you have to penetrate it equal to their level of spirit, essentially, to get through it. So in this case, that would go from costing, 4 miracle points to costing 6 miracle points.
Yeah. So I'm going to hold myself accountable and say that attacking her is off the table since I already did Right of the Last Trump.
Right, well, and even if you wanted to liquefy more miracle points, you could, but anything that costs you more than 4 miracle points, you sustain a grievous wound to do it.
Yeah, so that's that's definitely off the table. So, yes, I will use this great destruction miracle on the sky and perhaps the ocean as well.
Okay, I mean, close enough to the shore.
Yeah, within the range, I'm imagining that Lissa is like a focal point of an area of effect sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
While she's doing that simultaneously, if I were to just make sure what I did to the sea beasties stays true, at least within our immediate environs, the folks on the front flank, would that be a lesser preservation?
Well, that's interesting because you used, if I remember correctly, it was a creation miracle, wasn't it? You were creating a nothing.
It was. So now I'm preserving the nothing I created. My character makes grammar a challenge.
It does.
Yes.
I do like the grammar challenge that Dosk presents. It's quite fun. So in that case, a preservation miracle, major preservation would be 6, lesser would be 3. Probably if you're just talking about the local area, you could do this for free with no guarantee of exactly how long it would last. If you wanted to do it throughout the city like you did with your creation and make it last a little bit more, you could do a major preservation.
I think since the rays and such have fallen back a bit, a lesser is probably good for now.
Okay. Also good for your miracle point count.
That too, which is wanting. Yeah.
We're both depleted at this point.
Correct.
But after partially being responsible for massacring the city.
We feel like we owe the city something. I will say for the listener, I've preserved my spirit points because if we do get attacked directly, I want to be able to not be defenseless. But the rest, we might burn it all.
So, Lissa, does your major destruction look like anything in terms of what you're doing?
So the girl had shouted enough, and that's what carried on the storm. Jeez. I guess I'm just going to dramatically snap my fingers and say, no, we're not done talking.
Marvelous.
Can I tell you how much I love you treating her like a child? It's
Trust Aunt Lissa.
You snap your fingers, and as the sound travels from your fingers, so too the miracle takes effect. There is like this expanding bubble wherein suddenly the wind dies, the lightning sort of trails off, and the rain falls in a more sedate, steady, straight downward pattern rather than the howling storm that it was. The storm itself does not dissipate. The fury is gone. The storm is no longer an expression of the skies and the clouds' miraculously induced anger. But because the fury is gone, it is a very straightforward rain, if a heavy one. The little girl, Philia, looks at you and goes, "This could have been easy."
Yes, you could have gotten a drink with me.
Why do adults always make things so hard? And as she says that, around her, and only around her, 3 miniature tornadoes start spinning, throwing some of the sea creatures around her back quite a ways, seemingly grievously injuring them. But you can't actually feel the gusts from it even just 30 feet away. They are seemingly just localized to her. She has turned her back on you and is looking out towards the sea. Her hands are raised, and she is shouting, but it is not a language that you guys understand. It has a lot of sort of drawn out O and oo sounds in it, punctuated by sort of what I could best describe as sloshing consonants.
How do you talk to a drunken sailor?
Early
sure, let's
in
go
the
with
morning.
that.
Have we heard anything from the people with the pikes? Are they within eye shot? Do I have a sense of where they are?
The wind of the storm was playing merry hell with your perception of where the voice is coming from in the first place, and now it's gone. So you just have the driving rain pattering down around you, making it almost impossible to hear anything outside of your own little area. In fact, it's difficult to see more than 50 feet. Especially as the lightning has died down and it is dark.
If I'm able to perform an action, then I go ahead and do that Air of Dreadful command thing on faith that there are people, mortals, ready to fight on our side. And if anything, that faith in the dark thing might make me more powerful, being a creature of shadow and all.
Indeed. Let me find that for you. Air of Dreadful command is command plus intimidate.
Command. Well, so it would normally be command plus intimidate. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yes, command plus intimidate. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that is 2 + 2, so 4 dice. You're just hoping for another Satan roll, but here we go. 2 8s.
2 8s. Not at all bad. You are not at all sure if anybody sort of saw or heard you as you sort of... I mean, tell me what it is that you actually do here, because you're taking on faith that there are these armsmen within sight or
I turn
sound
around, and as though I can be seen, I spread my arms grandly and I say, "This is the moment to fight for the very existence of your town, the very existence of you, the very you-ness of you. Prepare to stand against the squall."
I love it.
And I knocked over some dice.
Yeah, for sure.
You are very committed.
That's marvelous,
like
sure.
the hand gestures and everything.
Yeah.
I feel inspired to go outside and yell at the sea, and I'm in a land-bound state.
As previously mentioned, Das talks with his hands, way too much, which is to say 60% as much as I do.
Because you ended that with Stand Against the Squall, I immediately started hearing Final Fantasy VIII music in my head.
Yeah. Not that squall. Very important distinction there.
Yeah, well, of course, because they let Disney rename him Leon for some fucking reason. Anyway, moving on.
Because his last name's Lionheart, right? So it becomes it's so dumb.
Anyway,
be lion-hearted and stand against the squall. Draw down. I'm sorry, I'll stop.
Oh, that broke me for a moment.
You gesture grandly and you shout this behind you into the storm, and for about 10 seconds, it seems like no one was there, and you can hear Philia's voice, projecting out towards the sea as the sea creatures next to her seem to sort of like rouse themselves. The song hasn't started back up, but they are like kind of moving less lethargically and starting to kind of collect themselves again. And then you see what at first appears to be an unnaturally straight couple of ranks of stars at ground level against a black night sky, but quickly resolves itself into the shining tips of spears, halberds, and pikes, as well as some gleams off of armor from squadron commanders, as about 200 city guardsmen and volunteer armsmen troop out of the rain, followed by a curtain of purest black. They come up one squad per street as they file towards the harbor wall, and you can hear just barely over the din of the rain falling the NCOs in the group shouting for people to ready pike and to assume ranks. Philia seems unaware of this as she continues to shout at the sea.
As soon as they're in sight, I'm going to do a lesser creation of fury, and however much that will affect of them. But it's not going to be the type of fury that burns bright and wild and out of control. It'll be the cold, focused, long-lived type of fury, directed and mirroring my own towards these sea creatures.
Okay. Anytime you want to inspire a specific kind of fury, that's going to be a sense plus empathy roll.
Oh, no. You're going to do that to me. I was going to ask for command and inspire with the words that would go with it.
Okay, well, if you've got words that fit with command and inspire, I will allow you to make that roll. In this case, you're not looking at a penalty die, but you are looking at a minimum height required in order to succeed.
Okay. And so as I cast this over them, or attempt to, I'm going to say that these monsters would take the city from you and drown its residents, get those who are unable to fight far from the city into safety, but those who can stand and fight and have the will to do so, fight along our side.
Okay, all right. So go ahead and roll your one command die. Save your master die for after, so that you can match it. You're looking for a 5 or better.
Oh, I got a 6 on my one die, so I'm going to match that.
All right,
barely
that's better than a
straight
5. Yeah. So the way that usually works, right, for me is that you create fury regardless. Whether you manage to create the type of fury that you want to, when you're being specific, is the dependent on the success of your roll. So
I need to start buffing my sense. Is what I'm hearing.
I would say that anything that you only have 1 or 2 dice in, that you want to be able to do it all, you may want to start spending some points on. Now, getting 1 point in a skill costs 1 XP. So it's not an amazing investment, but at creation, characters tend to suck at a lot of things, and some things come up more than others. So do enhance your strengths. The Master Die and Inspire, I think, was inspired, but kind of anything where you have 1 in your stat, you may want to start putting some skill points in there or saving up to raise the stat, just so that you have a roll if you need it.
Yeah.
You imbue the words of your speech with this miracle, and all who can hear it, it does carry. Lissa has a booming voice when she wants to. Feel their spines stiffen and their grips tighten on their weapons with this kind of cold fury towards these sea creatures. They have a literal uphill battle here. The creatures are on top of this harbor wall. And as you are speaking, Philia spins back around on her heel. And as she does, the clouds of the storm part just enough to let the light of a moon that is full, but should not, by the phases of the moon as they are have been in Taraxis, be full, to shine light into the city, that silvery light over the gleaming wet stones and shingles and tiles of the city, as well as sparkling off of the ocean beyond, in this narrow corridor where the storm is still pounding down to either side, raging in the local area around Philia, but otherwise this column of silvery light shines forth and is utterly swallowed by the darkness behind the city guardsmen. Their ranks are being bolstered as you watch by townspeople who have old swords or spears or axes in a lot of cases, or even just the leg of a chair or a table or a club or a smithing hammer, come to defend their city. And as the moon and its light sort of filter into the space, the song of those ray sirens starts up again, and you can see it sort of take hold of a couple people who start wavering in the line.
Could I call it a lesser creation? If those people who are inspired to fight, and only those people who are inspired to fight, are enveloped in a local darkness whereby neither the moonlight nor the song can touch them.
That's pretty specific.
What if I give another speech, indeed, and it only affects those people who find my prose convincing?
I can't resist a speech.
Yes. And Drew is very good at speeches.
So that's 5 dice with a master die, is that right?
This is for... Are you doing perform?
I guess, yeah.
Well, so your perform is in verse. Are you going to extemporize a poem for us?
I mean, sure.
If you are willing to extemporize a poem for this podcast, I am willing to let you have the master die on this roll.
There once was a moon in the sky.
You're looking for a 5 or better on the height.
This might
no
go
pressure.
Real bad.
Yeah, no pressure or anything, but do it.
Okay, so I did get 2 6s, so I think I'm going to make that a devil roll.
All right, yeah, with your master
with my
die,
master
for
die.
sure. Yeah.
2 in 1 episode, for God's sake. Okay, so that's contingent on there being a poem now.
Recite some inspiring verse, monkey dance.
Okay. Good pikemen of Calavan, though moonlight doth shine upon you, and sea doth swell against your enterprise, take heart, and find comfort within the darkness that will envelop you and hold you like a mother's womb as you fight for the very lives that your sons and daughters, that you and your sons and your daughters and your parents and your grandparents before you hath so endeavored to create.
Alyssa's applause is definitely in character, and then
that's much better than
really nonsense, but it scans. God damn it!
Yeah.
That is the important part, especially here.
I will say, Lissa kind of catches herself and realizes what Dosk has seen, and then awkwardly stops applauding, realizing it may not be the most appropriate thing, and she's not sure, how Dosk feels.
Your applause is mostly lost in the combined sound of the storm and the armsmen responding with a unified cry as they rush forward, weapons leveled. to take back their harbor.
Can we see the moonlight not hitting them?
I mean, in the sense that there is no glare or reflection off of their armor and weapons now.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's hard to see things that are the absence of light. But
welcome to my world, buddy.
right. But if you compare it to, like, you know, the gleaming of the cobblestones and whatnot, yeah, you can see that there is like this lack of this glare, lack of this gleaming, lack of these highlights as they charge forward. The rays launch themselves off the wall and glide down among the armsmen to begin the fight as the behemoths start to sort of, well, the word that came to mind was trundle, but I think probably undersells the lethality and the size of the creatures.
Mega trundle.
So, you know, sure, mega trundle. They start to mega trundle.
You're welcome, everyone.
Order your Dice Punks Mega Trundle today.
Since I'm not there, I'm the peanut gallery.
You're in my head, though. Like, this is canonical peanut gallery shit. If Robert were here, here's what he'd be snarking.
So, combat has been joined. Are you going to participate in it alongside these armsmen, or are you going to leave it to them and do something else? For her part, Philia seems to be standing there watching with arms crossed and sort of a glare on her face.
So is she watching the combat, not us?
Yes, although that does put you in her field of vision currently.
So table talk. My initial thought was that the combat was a doomed endeavor, and the point was more to show Philia that we were not alone and people were willing to fight. I think if we don't take this to some kind of détente, sooner than later, the loss of life is going to be nigh unto absolute.
Yeah, that's my feeling as well, and my hope is that people are also getting out of the city. Those that are not fighting, that is. But I am going to do a lesser creation of fury in a very specific section of the wall, that the harbor wall that she's standing on, which is directly beneath her and on either side, pointing out to the wall that the tutelary spirits of the wall, that this little child is trying to destroy this city and all of the beautiful architecture therein, and that needs to consume her.
Okay, all right. So, the creation of fury is going to work either way. Let's see.
If you say the word sense and empathy in a sentence.
I'm going to say, in this case, rolling a charm and graces.
Oh,
so 5
dice. Thank you.
Is going to be your go-to here to get the effect that you want from the fury that you add to it.
2 8s.
2 8s. Pretty well. Pretty good. The stones, or their tutelary spirits, they're one and the same, just depends on how you look at it. Feel the fury that you inspire in them. But they're mad at her. They don't want her close at all. So there is an eruption of stone. The face of the wall, completely unchanged. Totally stationary. It's beautiful. You just told it was beautiful. It needs to stay beautiful. But the top where she's standing, this fountain of gravel underneath her feet, flinging her into the air and off the wall. She's lost to your sight behind the harbor wall. You have no idea how far she went.
Team Rocket's blasting off again!
Fortunately for her, she does not turn into a twinkle in the sky, but you can neither hear nor see what became of her on the other side of this wall.
I thank the wall out loud.
It ripples slightly. The melee has been joined by the rays, which are easy to kill but hard to hit, and they do a lot of damage. So there's kind of this line of carnage near the base of the wall that the behemoths start to thud down onto the cobblestones in the middle of. And they, again, have very little in the way of natural armor or protection, but they're very big and very strong and very intimidating. And with a sweep of their arm can not permanently incapacitate, but fling away 7 armsmen at a time.
We should do something about those.
I think I don't have any better idea than another poem.
Yes. Speak poetry, O great bard.
So this, what is this? Is this a lesser creation? I'm trying to. So I want to convince some of the deep beasties that fighting is not worth it, right? But I can't do it on a citywide scale like I did before. So I've got to sort of target the group already in the melee to convince them to retreat. So do I piggyback on that same roll, or do I roll again since this is a new composition?
Well, it's also aimed at different individuals.
That's true.
So I think it's a new roll.
Okay. So same deal, 4 dice plus I have a master die. That's all right. That's 2 8s. So that becomes 3 8s.
All right.
And I say, what the hell do I say? I say, O raise and great behemoths of the deep, who move in war against the Calavinians, lay down your arms, though arms thou hath not any. Return to ocean's halls and watery keep.
I am going to find excuses to make you improvise poems as often as I can. This is wonderful.
Every episode.
That one was in iambic pentameter, let the record show.
I'm just going to put it out there.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying it fits the form.
At some point, Drew, you really need to come up with a limerick for the, like, least untoward sort of thing.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, true. They haven't been filthy yet. So there's still time. Yeah.
So this is accompanied with a lesser creation miracle, was it?
Lesser creation, yeah. The most I can do without spending any miracle points.
Right.
Yeah.
So you recite this poem, and it's unclear if they understand Taraxan at all. It could just be sounds to them, but you notice as you do, you have created this sort of bubble-like salient in the darkness. It expands out from the line in a localized area to cover the combat. And because it is the darkness of Mott, you can sense, if not see within it, that where the darkness covers, the combat swings in the direction of the defenders. Not in even a way that you can put physical cause and effect to. Just within moments of the darkness covering the combat itself rather than hanging behind the armsmen, they are pushing back the behemoths. And this is maybe a 30-foot radius around you that this is happening in. But as you notice that this is happening, you see the broader line of darkness advance 5-6 inches.
I'm assuming I also see this occur, and feeling emboldened by the dark line advancing and feeling that sort of deceptive glimmer of hope about the situation. I'm going to do another lesser creation on the cobblestone, specifically in front of the people fighting. And as before, I'm just going to try to flatter the heck out of it, tell it what lovely work it is, and isn't it affronted by all these creatures of the sea walking on land where they're not supposed to be, and they're stomping all over the place. why don't you just imbalance these creatures as they approach? You don't have to do anything dramatic. You just gotta kind of knock them off their game a little bit, and the people will take care of the rest.
I love how much Lyssa's deployments of fury hinge on indignation, particularly from an animate object.
Also, as an aside, we're now, I think, officially, like, a new set of villains in The Little Mermaid.
I think we are. We're stopping the ocean.
This poor, unfortunate town.
You are making me regret that I do not have a Jamaican crab up on the wall singing a battle cry.
You could fix it.
I mean, it's
You're
not
the
too
Hollyhock
late.
God.
But we've... Between us
Soon
being
to
mad
will
at
be
Disney for
under the
changing
sea.
Squall's name earlier, and then us not using the Darksaber to describe the lightning, I feel like 3 strikes against Disney may actually get us in some sort of trouble if we have a crab singing.
You meet the Nobilis of First Kisses, who is a small crab with a Jamaican accent.
I was going to say you meet the Nobilis of intellectual property law who has mouse ears for some reason.
Oh, jeez.
His name is Willie. He rides.
Honestly, if this weird little tabletop RPG podcast that we're doing becomes a martyr to the mouse, frankly, what could be more punk than that?
This is true.
Frame that cease and desist.
Yeah.
Well, I would actually frame that one. So Disney, if you want to send one just for funsies.
Yeah.
So, you, I'm
hitting
I
a
guess
cobblestone.
Yeah, I guess this could be a command inspire.
Okay.
Roll to get this miracle to take the shape that you want it to.
That's even more generous than I expected. I always pick up my master die without meaning to. Okay. That's going to be 2 5s.
2 5s. All right. The cobblestones in your area at least seem to take this to heart. Yeah. What are these chumps doing? And just start doing this kind of wave motion. Beneath the feet of these behemoths. They're not easy to unbalance. They have a lot of inertia, but it does put them on, well, almost a literal back foot, which is bad for them because their legs are a lot scrawnier than their arms. They have to kind of gorilla or on their knuckles most of the time. And they start to fall back, at least in your area, at least a little bit. At this point, you have no idea when he showed up or where he came from, but Brother Umber has taken up a position just a little bit behind the line of armsmen, kind of on the cusp of the darkness where it is still behind them, rather than around dusk. And he begins shouting at the top of his lungs in his most resonant voice, "Forward, men of Calavan! The Obsidian Guard fights on your side! Look, the darkness is with you! He shall protect those who devote themselves to his knightliness!" And it deteriorates from there. He is not necessarily a great orator, but he is seizing the moment.
The important question is, does it seem to be impacting our troops in any one way or the other?
Well, hard to say. The darkness behind them is creeping up bit by bit, but that was also happening before. However, it probably couldn't hurt to associate, progress against the sea beasties in people's minds with benevolence from Mott.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure it was not distracting them.
doesn't seem to be deleterious to their combat performance, no.
Okay, that's the important stuff.
So in this chaos, can I perhaps do a lesser divination and learn something about the master of this Nobilis we've encountered?
Interesting. So lesser divinations are about your estate specifically.
Oh, that's true. Well, no, but there are lesser divinations among miracle points. But true, they have to be about the domain, sure. So I have to justify why this has to do with nothingness.
Right. I'm looking at the summary here, and you can learn about realm with lesser realm divinations. You can learn about domain with lesser domain divination.
Gotcha. So I could do a lesser realm divination, but that's not really applicable. Okay.
Right, you're not in Fermata.
Right.
What is more nothing than something rising from the unfathomable depths of the ocean to take over a city, though?
Nice try. That's definitely something, though.
I did. If this helps, I did write a limerick. Well,
specifically about finding this information out.
Kinda. It's meant to tweak and distract our adversary while I get this information, so she doesn't notice.
Okay, well, you actually haven't seen her yet.
She's still
catapulted
drowned in gravel. Okay, yeah.
She is still yoked.
So yeah, yoked. Thanks.
So I mean,
so
yeah, maybe that's sort of the explanation, right? Like I'm feeling around in the fathomless depths of the ocean for the source of rage, and I'm trying to find the one point where the nothing that I feel is interrupted by something. Where the nothing is disturbed, where the darkness is filled by something other than darkness. A burr.
What this sounds more like to me is you're defining like ocean depths or fury as nothing, which I don't think really tracks, but you're looking for like difference.
Ooh, he said the F word. I mean, the fury word.
Disparity. I'm looking for disparity. You're right. Yeah.
And now we're in a Dark Souls cutscene. But
this is the game, folks. This is the players and the GM negotiating what counts as what.
I don't like to give a flat no, but I think this is beyond your purview.
Okay.
However, I imagine that this is not a thought because Lissa is very dead set on not having more people in the city die for obvious reasons. So if Dosk makes this kind of line of query known to her, I could always do a lesser divination for fury. Now that I know that it's the Master's fury.
Let's say I do, and I say something along the lines of, the bloodshed will be functionally infinite if we allow it to continue here. The conflict is clearly between the big guy and whoever this child serves. We need to know more if we are to resolve the conflict itself and end this strife.
I give Dosk a appreciative grin that's also a little bit, like, uncomfortable and awkward because I don't know where I stand with him after what he just witnessed, but so I go for the lesser divination and specifically try to learn about the fury of this master and why it's directed towards the city. What exactly did these descendants of the Caliban do, or the man named Caliban do, to inspire this wrath?
Yes, so I want there to be a roll here because that's a little more specific than a lesser divination could normally account for, but it is about fury. So I think it's possible here. The thing that I think you're going to hate me for is this is definitely a sense roll.
Oh, okay.
Truly,
empathy.
Truly, the Dark Souls of skill checks.
I did not get a match, but Lady Luck smiles upon me and allows me to reroll once per session.
Indeed she does. It is also, of course, possible that you will meet Lady Luck in this campaign. It could be a person.
Hopefully she smiles upon me too, because she sounds cute. So she was not smiling upon me too much because I got 2 non-matches in a row.
All right, well, now that you have some of the backstory, the fury that you detect from Philia's master and his creatures is directed. It's not simply radiating. It is being channeled towards the city of Caliban. And actually, now that you are focusing on it, upon a single individual who has just ridden up on his horse clad in full armor, and is shouting encouragement from about where the darkness behind the armsmen sort of lingers. Tyrios Calivan is the focal point of this ire. You don't know why. You don't know what the backstory here is. But all of those radiating waves of fury that you have felt whenever you have looked at it, from the thing in the ocean, from the things that have come up on shore, are focused on this one man. Currently, you can actually hear him. He is shouting to his armsmen, "All right, lads, this is the day I warned you about. We always knew it could come. We are going to send them back into the sea. At the points of our spears, if necessary, push forward. Don't give an inch."
I look at Dosk and I point and I say, "There's our descendant."
Cobblestones are unbalancing our behemoths. Tyrios Calivan has just appeared and is the focal point of the rage from the sea. And Dusk, you were threatening to withhold a limerick from us.
I was because I got to figure out what it is I'm doing with it. So I've inspired the people. I've bewildered the sea folk. What's left to do? I suppose my thought would be to communicate with our fellow Nobilis directly, but she's not in evidence, right? As far as we know, she got sort of
punted,
hidden by...
She got yeeted.
Yeah, she got yeeted.
Yote.
I mean, talking to her absence actually seems very much like a Duke of Nothing type power. So I suppose really I'm talking to the sea folk, though. I'm replacing the image of her with an absence, with a negative image that is based on my own rhetoric. So I'm speaking to them in words without words, but if you could hear words, they would sound like a limerick.
This would be a command plus intimidate.
Okay. And this would be, by the way, because somewhere in the back of my head I remember a coffee date, which I invented, and I remember that if Romnit were here, he would want a limerick.
Somewhere
so
dimly, I am aware
intimidate.
the poem is being dedicated to me in absentia.
Yeah. Does this have a miraculous dimension with it?
It's a good question.
Are you doing
that's a good question. I think, if anything, whatever doubt I've created, I wish to preserve. So maybe it's a lesser preservation.
Okay. Yeah, I buy it.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Holy shit! That's a third devil. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's a 9. So actually, it's two. I really thought I had a third.
That was really close.
So what it is is actually there's no matches then. It's so not super successful.
Okay.
Well, that's appropriate. I try to speak verse and a limerick comes out.
Right.
And that,
give us this limerick.
For the record, that limerick is: there once was an ocean-drowned child who made all the sea folk run wild. But she triumphed not in the shadow of Mott, and Calivan ne'er she defiled. But when I say Mott, those listening, if they could hear me, which they cannot, would not hear the name Mott. They would hear...
an empty syllable.
They would hear something that sounds the way a candle smells as you blow it out.
Ooh. Very evocative.
I love that.
As you finish this... I don't know what we call it exactly, metaphysical limerick. There is a ruckus and a sort of plume of pulverized stone and dust from the other side of the harbor wall, and Philia is raised up in a cyclone, her top half protruding from the top of this miniature tornado as she reemerges from the other side of this harbor wall to oversee her forces being pushed back. It is coming at quite a cost to the armsmen, but they are pushing them back and have now mounted the harbor wall stairs, to push them back up. And she appears at the top and shouts in probably her most childishly petulant tone of voice just yet. "Fine! If you want a war, let's make it a fair one. Nobilis versus Nobilis. Obsidian God versus God of the Deep. Take me on. Who is your champion?"
Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay.
I don't think that is in this universe, but
Table talk. Neither of us is in fighting trim.
well,
okay,
Lissa
so
isn't.
this kind of advice is probably going to be sparing throughout the campaign, but since we haven't really done this before, aspect miracles are going to be the rule of the day here. If you're fighting physically with another Nobilis, you're going to be using aspect miracles to keep up with them. And then penetration on any sort of miraculous oomph that you give to it. So, like, a good example of this would be, okay, I use an aspect miracle 1 to do, like, a perfect attack, and then I add penetration to it in order to get through their Arctoritas. So, you know, take that for what it's worth.
Now my choice of right the last trump seems very, very sad.
Well, so
you took those from aspect.
My aspect is still full. I didn't take anything from aspect, so maybe this is me. As irresistible as the image is of Lissa fighting a child, since
this giantess. She already punted the child into the sky.
The child appears, however, to have recovered from that.
the right of the first yeet. I was gonna say in canon we look at each other. We probably like look back, look again.
Yeah. I mutter underneath my breath. You're not quite sure who I'm talking to, but nothing seems to be happening unless Adam says otherwise.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any further information, so I'm not going to say otherwise.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think that brings us to a showdown between Dosk and Philia.
Let's do it.
So, this is miraculous combat. But the way that we have worked combat before here has typically been widest roll goes first. So, basically the way I'm going to fuse these together is that you are going to give me and roll your action, and Philia is going to roll her action, and we are going to resolve those things normally for mortals, unless one or the other of you decides to use a miracle, in which case it'll go in order of most potent miracles. When there's a tie, the rolls will resolve it. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay.
Do I have a chance to clap Dosk encouragingly on the back before he steps forward?
I stumble two steps forward and then catch myself. And try to make it look like a graceful, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, sort of a shuffle.
As an aside here, what are you doing, Lissa, while this duel takes place?
I'm going to continue providing whatever miraculous support I can to the mortal troops.
Are you going to get out your hammer and fight alongside them?
Sure. That seems like a Lissa thing to do.
That does fall under whatever support you can offer.
Yeah.
So I'm intensely aware of the fact that I don't know the etiquette of a Nobilis on Nobilis duel. But I'm also amped, especially after being clapped on the back. So,
all right. Well, so what's your opening move here?
That's a good question. Let the record show, by the way, throughout the proceedings that Dosk has followed and studied the school of the insouciant monkey. So
indeed,
everything I do includes a dodge, and attacks made against me are difficulty 3. I'm a slippery sort. So yes, with that in mind, I think if it is clear that combat has officially begun, which is on reflection not much of an if. I draw my Mumbele and go for a quick attack in a single fluid motion.
Okay, and this is just a mundane attack.
It is, for the moment.
Okay. So, go ahead and roll that,
okay.
and then we will resolve things.
Let me just see what that roll is. What is that? That is
going to be 4 plus an expert die.
Okay.
So you set the expert die, and then you roll your 4.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, because Satan has been with us for this session, I'll say it's a 6.
Fair enough.
No matches.
All right. So you launch yourself up these stairs, and as you approach, you find that instead of producing any kind of weapon or taking any kind of defensive posture, Philia has simply put a hand palm forward towards you and gives you a manic, childlike grin as lightning strikes out of the sky at you. There aren't even any clouds above you. But she has gone ahead and used a miracle to attack you this turn. So I am going to roll her damage for that. It will mean that she is going to need... and for listeners, I am combining systems here, right? The miracle would not necessarily require a damage roll. Nobilis is a diceless system. I am, navigating levels left and right here. But... she has struck you with lightning, and you will get a dodge there, which you can go ahead and roll, and she will also have that difficulty for this to take effect at all. So,
all right. So my dodge would be evasion or parry plus body. Is that what it is?
I believe it is coordination plus dodge.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
For you.
Okay, let's do that. That is 2 8s.
Unfortunately, she got 2 10s. So you are going to take 2 killing damage to your head.
It's not ideal.
It is not. It actually hurts more than anything has ever hurt you in your entire life.
Okay.
Round 2.
So I'm just noting.
What's your
I'm noting
for
my
this turn?
killing damage here. Okay, so I got struck in the head by lightning.
Yes.
Your
hair is completely unchanged.
Thanking Mott for small favors. Yeah.
You are
the
still...
implication there is because it was already looking like you've been struck by lightning.
Oh.
So interesting. So I'm looking at the rule book, and it says a level 5 aspect miracle is, for example, catching a bullet. It's something that's impossible for humans.
Yes.
So is it too late for me to use that aspect miracle to absorb whatever is left of this lightning and put it in my Mambele and strike back with it?
I think so. But I think that leaves you well positioned to enter miraculous combat on your own terms.
Sure.
And, that lightning strike that you just got hit by was not free. So
Sure. Fair enough. So this is, this is that thing where how do you fight with nothing? Other than be on the internet. Yeah, I guess what I do is, so this is miraculous. And I'm looking at the aspect list here. So let's see.
Do keep in mind too that in order to effect a miraculous attack, you need to take into account penetration.
Mm-hmm.
She just did.
Right.
But
so let's see. She vomited seaweed and kelp at one point. Is she full of water? Is she basically like a begilled creature at this point?
She is always wet. There has been a storm already, and she was wet before that. She seems to always have a gurgle in her voice. It's a fair bet that seawater is a part of her person.
Yeah. So would it be a fair piece of miraculous combat to sublimate all of her water? To render all of the space taken up by moisture in her person unmoist.
So that would be a domain miracle, which you could do if it was level 4 or below.
Sure.
But you don't have any miracle points left in that. If you're using an aspect miracle, you're just doing physical actions.
Sure.
So you certainly can, if you can pierce her auctoritas, use a domain miracle on her. In this case, this would probably be a lesser creation of nothing, which is level 4, but you'd have to account for penetration. So you'd have to use right of last trump to get however many points of penetration you want on that miracle.
Right. So in other words, yeah, my domain level gets me to 4, but then every actual piece of damage I want to do, that's right of the last trump.
Well, it's actually all or nothing until you reach her level of spirit.
Sure.
Which we've calculated at 2. So you would need to use right of the last trump to get some miracle points on top of your domain 4 in order to make that domain miracle penetrate. Now, I'm looking at your character sheet. You have 1 realm miracle point, 5 spirit miracle points, and 5 aspect miracle points. Those aspect miracle points can be used in physical combat if you need to. The spirit miracle points are not really doing much for you other than kind of hanging out at the moment.
Yeah, true.
Realm, similarly, you're not in Fermata. So.
Right. So if I were to use my remaining realm miracle point as well as 3 spirit miracle points,
that would get you 2 domain miracle points of penetration on a lesser creation miracle.
Yeah. Should I go for broke? This is tabletop.
I mean, this isn't broke necessarily. This is a hell of an opening gambit, though. You do continue to have your
I support this.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. I support this idea. I like it. I want to see what happens if she becomes like shriveled and crunchy.
I support
like
the withering.
Snack seaweed.
All right.
Yes.
I used the realm and all of the spirit on the withering for 3 points of penetration.
3 points of penetration. Okay. And let me go ahead and roll another dodge as she's going to try again with the lightning.
Yeah, I figured she would. 3 4s.
3 4s. You manage to get out of the way. You dodge lightning, and you feel pretty great. You dodge lightning, and you feel pretty great about it, and you sort of spin on your heel, and you just kind of like make a hand gesture like you're squeezing something, and the water isn't squeezed out of her, it's just gone. And you see her immediately fall out of this tornado, right? Like her control over the atmosphere around her seems to have been in some way damaged or unbalanced by this. And she sort of like falls to the ground, and she catches herself on her feet, but only just barely, and glares up at you. Your next action.
Woo!
Well, you've grounded her.
Woo!
Now's the time to beat up a child.
So she's pruned. Yeah, time to slice a child. Yeah, I mean, boy, do I go miraculous or do I just go for mundane now that she's squishy? Yeah, I'd probably go for aspect. So I use my aspect points. And I do go for her with my Mambele, but I do it in a way that is not possible for a normal human. I do it in a way that if, under normal circumstances, if I were using it against a regular mortal human being, I would probably rend them in half. I use a probably and logically impossible amount of force to try and simply tear her apart.
Okay, so what level of aspect miracle are we looking at here?
That's a damn fine question. This is probably...
Level 1 would be like high level human. Level 2 would be like the best a human could ever do.
Yeah.
Level 3 would be like superhuman, but only by a bit.
Sure.
And there's still Auctoritas.
Probably superhuman, but by a bit. To consider, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably don't want to leave myself completely without options. So I think...
May I make the suggestion then that we go with a high-level human +2 penetration? Because I feel like what you're describing here is something that is something that, like, in theory, a human body could do, even if it is unlikely to ever take place.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that would be 3 points, yeah? 1 plus 2.
That would be 3 points total from aspect.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So let me get it. Actually, you won't get one.
Yeah, do I roll? Because I am doing sort of like regular mundane combat in addition to...
No, you won't roll. I'm trying to figure out how to resolve her thing. Let me go ahead and make her roll first. Okay. So you are using essentially a level 1 miracle with some penetration.
Correct.
She is using go for broke, essentially. And she launches herself at you, hands stretched out in front of her, and you feel her fingers penetrate your skin and wrap around your ribs, and she starts to tug on them. You take this opportunity, not entirely sure how you're remaining clear-headed other than the divine energy flowing through you, to basically, like, grab her whole head in one hand, pushing it a little bit away from you to get some room, and just swinging your Nobilis as a blur. As fast as you've ever done anything, with as much force as you've ever done anything in your life, just below her rib cage, and you feel it collide with her spinal column and dig in a little bit. You don't quite bisect her, but you do get a long way through it, and her eyes go huge in her face. She does not seem to have expected you to penetrate her octoritas, and her grip loosens on the bones of your ribs, and you're able to sort of shove her away. She is basically literally holding herself together on one side as she staggers backward, but she does not fall, because Nobilis are really tough.
Point of order. Have I taken some kind of shock or killing damage to my torso?
So, yes, I was going to get to that in a moment. Once we had resolved the miraculous stuff and you were feeling your body
sounds good.
Nonsense again. So, the answer in short form, though, is you've taken 4 killing damage to your torso.
Okay. I'm okay, folks.
You better be. We have a date schedule.
It's fine.
Can we just...
He's only got 10 holes in his chest.
We can fix that. We can fill them with nothing. He'll like it.
It's in any case, no excuse for lateness.
Yeah. You'd only be excused if there were 15 holes.
And please, let's not get there.
Not 10.
So, I suspect that there will be one more round to this combat.
Seems likely.
What's your action?
Seems likely. I mean, I suppose I've made a bunch of headway. I need to try and bisect her the rest of the way. I don't imagine she's in much of a position to block me from doing so. I feel like this is something a human could probably do. If a human were to encounter a Nobilis that were already 40 to 60% bisected, under ideal circumstances, a human could probably finish the bisection process. So,
sure.
Do we call this a level 1 or a level 0? I'm not sure. That's a GM question, but that plus penetration.
So, level 0 basically means your maximum rolls as you as a character. Right, your immortal attributes.
Sure. I was bluffing because I only have 2 miracle points, so it's going to have to be a 0 plus 2.
Okay, so it's going to have to be a level 0.
Yeah,
okay. So you will still, we will still calculate this as a roll, but you will not actually make a roll.
Okay.
Because we are just going to give you, you got 5 dice on Nobilis, so 5 10s is essentially your roll.
Okay.
There.
Okay.
She is out of aspect miracle points. So
thank Mott.
The remainder of her domain miracle points here.
Why have you forsaken me, Mott?
So I'm going to need you to roll another dodge.
Okay. Same deal, 4 dice.
I mean, yes, it's your dodge skill. So,
just didn't know if there was anything special happening.
Yeah.
That is 2 9s.
You do manage to get out of the way of another lightning bolt. This one crackling with sort of a wildness around it that a lightning bolt coming from the sky is kind of a clean, jagged moment. This sort of has some, almost incandescent energy around it, an air of desperation, and you manage to, sort of swoop forward to the left and duck, and then you bring your Mombele around backhanded, and you manage to dial down your 10s to, I guess, like a 6 or so for torso hit, and meet your previous cut in the other direction. And sure enough, the two halves of Philia come apart. Although she does not seem less aware and mobile for all of this. Her arm grabs on to a protruding bit of spine as she falls, and her legs start running back towards the sea, dragging her torso along with it as she glares daggers at you.
And Yakety Sax plays in the background.
Saxophones have not been invented in Taraxis, so no, just kidding.
The melody is played. Yeah, exactly.
But as the as this Nobilis of this god of the deep retreats, the darkness from behind you sweeps forward, and the sea monsters are in full retreat. You can hear Tyrios Celavan urging his troops. You can hear Brother Umber crediting the victory to the obsidian god. And as the darkness sweeps over you, you feel relaxed. You feel a tug. You feel yourself back at the gates of Fermata. And you feel, as the gates of Fermata resolve before you, a very distant, sort of faint sense of a voice in your head that says, "Well done. The fires are no more, and the war with the sea is rekindled. This serves us." That, looking at our time, feels like a pretty good place to stop. I know that it's a bit of a tease since we're back in Fermata and Romnet is just waiting to be on screen again.
I mean, I'm pretty good peanut gallery.
We are running out of our session time for today. That is true. You've been an excellent peanut gallery. So, our Nobilis can each take 1 mortal XP and 1 divine XP for having fulfilled another of your Imperator's requests. You will need some downtime for sure.
Hot Springs episode.
When we return next time.
Oh my goodness. It is time. Oh, Alyssa's all about some hot springs.
I mean, I'm not going to say no, but I am going to say that your odds of finding a hot springs in Fermata are pretty low.
Right.
I mean,
Romnet would have a very cold spring.
take Cold Obsidian Spring, add Fury.
This is true. This is very true.
Perhaps. That officially concludes this session of Dice Punks. Thanks for joining us, and I hope our players and listeners enjoyed it as much as I did, and that you'll all join us again next time. If you're hearing us now, then you probably know where to listen to this, but we can be found almost any place one can listen to podcasts, as well as on the wider web at dicepunks.com and on Twitter as @dicepunks. With that, I think we're ready to say farewell. Say goodbye to the kind folks at home, everybody.
Oh, thanks for listening. I'm okay, folks.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope this episode was not a wash.
Thanks for listening, folks. Someday, Dusk will come back from the war.
And as the poet once said, if I'm the villain, well then take me all the way.
Sorry, I was not prepared.
You are a being of unfathomable evil.
Listen, may use that as a pickup line.
Speaking of beings of unfathomable evil. Thank you, dear listeners, for tuning in, and stick around through the admin stuff. There's Dusk Fact with Drew waiting for you at the end of it. The songs in this episode, theme of the Dice Punks in its acoustic version, were written and recorded by the Duke of Nothing himself, Drew. Cover art is by Joanne, who will be behind the scenes for the time being, but played Rue the Gremlin in our Psionics one-shot. Site design and graphics for DicePunks.com are by Robin, player behind the irrepressible Lissa, the Duchess of Fury. Rain and the one-roll engine it runs on were created by Greg Stolze, whose work can be found in, well, a frankly astonishing number of cool places, but I'll point you toward gregstolze.com. Nobilis was created by Jenna Caterin Moran and can be found alongside much of her other really intriguing work both in and outside of tabletop role-playing at afarandsunlessland.wordpress.com. Links to both systems and authors can be found on the Punk Grimoire section of our website, dicepunks.com. Thanks so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, well, that's reward enough on its own, really, but if you're so inclined, you can help us out by rating and reviewing us wherever you listen to us, telling your friends you think would like us to give us a listen, and even by heading over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dicepunks. We have fun rewards available to backers, including a patron-only Discord and access to the Dice Peaks after show for episodes 1 and following. Regardless, we hope you'll tune in again, and until then, remember, subtlety is for cowards.
So as Dask is thinking over his wounds and assessing them and thinking on his victory, he's put in mind of a relative, great aunt actually, Creus Tyr's sister, Opati Tyr, who once came up with a scheme so ridiculous that the family doesn't even quite believe it existed. The idea was to get a local tavern to pay on a regular basis, not even for any sort of service, but simply for the privilege of paying again, should some bad fate befall the establishment. I believe that she called it something like assurance. It was such an absurd notion and so obviously ridiculous and so impossible for any rube to possibly take part in that she was simply laughed out of the family and nothing ever came of it. It's a Dask fact.